The attacks this week in Baghdad against a prominent church and a series of assaults across the capital were some of the worst violence in Baghdad since 2003. They come at a precarious time in the capital and across Iraq. They underline a deep sense of anticipation, a deep sense of anxiety over the direction of the country. But in a broader sense, they illustrate the worry that the institutions of the very state are incapable of coping with what has been a persistent problem in Iraq since 2003. That's violence. The attacks don't come in a vacuum in Baghdad, nor is the violence the same as we've often seen in past weeks and past months. The attack against the church was against one of the most prominent churches in the city, and it underlined a sense of siege among Christians here, many of whom have left since the invasion in 2003. But in conversations across the capital, what's perhaps most striking is the way that people don't cast blame against any one individual or any one politician, but rather the entire class of politicians. There's a growing sense of a gulf between the ruling class and basically those they rule, and there's a sense that that political class isn't able to cope with the problems ahead. They're mired in their own negotiations over power, and while those negotiations go on, the situation in the streets gets worse. There's perhaps something of an irony in all this. At a time that American attention toward Iraq is flagging, the country itself is dealing with some of its most decisive moments. The violence, the deadlock, the loss of faith in the government is making for one of Iraq's biggest crises since 2003.